All right, so today I'm going to show y'all how I turned this photo into this photo using frequency separation in Photoshop and a little bit of color grading. Stay tuned. If you would like to see the final photos from this photo shoot, follow me on Instagram at IamChatStrong. Image, so we can start touching up like any blemishes or just spot using our healing brush or spot removal brush to really clean up our image as best as we can before we start the frequency separation. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Sometimes I use this lasso tool. Whatever you use to clean your image up, just try to clean it up as best as you can before you start frequency separation. It makes the job a lot more easier. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. So I'm gonna try to speed through this process so the video don't be super long. I just kind of want y'all to see my behind the scenes. Plus, she really don't have a lot that I need to clean up on here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So now we're gonna go ahead and start our frequency separation. So to create our frequency separation, I'm gonna run through it. I have a video on my YouTube that goes more in depth into my frequency separation or how to create the frequency separation action. This video is not gonna be that, so I'm gonna just kind of speed through it. But if you would like for me to go more in depth on how to create the frequency separation action, please comment below. And if it's something y'all want to see, I would do a video specifically on creating the frequency separation action. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. First, I'm gonna create two layers. First layer, we go to blur, Gaussian blur, and this is gonna be for my skin tones. Then I'm gonna go to my other layer, and this is gonna be for my skin textures. Merge it. Track. So this is my skin tones. I mean, this is my textures. You can name it. I'll name it just for the heck of it. And all frequency separation is you you're pretty much creating separate layers for your skin tones and your skin texture. So when you go to edit your skin tones and it doesn't, you don't, I guess you keep your textures. So you'll keep your textures so you can smoothen the skin pretty much. Essentially, you can smoothen your subject's skin without losing any of the textures because they're on two separate layers. I'm trying to name those skin tones. Then we'll just group them together. Boom, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna use my lasso tool to start out. Now that we got that done, we could go ahead and start with the frequency separation. I'm gonna make this kind of quick. So I like to zoom in pretty close and do small parts at a time. So right now we're just editing the skin tones. So where it's like harsh lighting or harsh skin tones and where they meet up together, we gonna make it blend and mesh smoothly. Normally I would be a lot more precise about this, but for tutorial purposes I'm just kind of rushing through it. But when you get ready to do it, make sure you take your time with it. All right, so I know I kind of sped through that process. So that was how I use frequency separation with the Lasso tool, and then once I get done, I'll come over to the opacity, the overall opacity, and I kind of fine tune it, like turn it down a little bit, especially if I did too much, which I did on this one. So once I do that, I'll go down here and I would just make a copy for my skin tones, and this one I will use for my mixer brush, which I go over here and then adjust my settings. And again, if you would like for me to do a detailed video of my frequency separation and the settings I use for the mixer brush, comment below and let me know. I really like using the mixer brush. I know a lot of people would typically only use the mixer brush because it's quicker and it gives you that overall smooth look. Just my personal preference. I like to use them both and then really bring down that mixer brush because I feel like a lot of times it gives a really oily pastel painting type of look, which is cool if that's what you're going for, but it's not really what I'm going for. You want to try to take your time with this too, but we're gonna rush it. Then depending on how well y'all like this video, I would do another one and spend more time with it and go in more detail. So all the mixer brush is doing is pretty much the same thing as the Lasso tool. It's the same frequency separation, except for it's blending the skin tones just a little bit differently. Not only that, but I still have my skin texture. So if I zoom in, you can see that she still has skin texture remaining. And if I hide this, you can see that was a skin texture, and this is with the skin tones back. So as you can see, they're on two separate layers. You gotta keep on smoothing in the skin, and you can really spend some time with this. The more time you spend with it, more likely of a better outcome you will receive. Again, sorry, the mic sounds real shaky. I have it on this sort of side, so it's probably another version. And me personally, I like using a mixer brush. The reason I like using both because I feel like they serve their own purposes. I will use the mixer brush um, on faces and stuff, but I really like using it more on like body parts like arms, legs, or any large body parts that doesn't have a lot of details on it, because I feel like it makes the editing process a lot quicker versus using the Lasso tool. Because the Lasso tool, if you do too many large areas at once, it'll give a really flat look, and that's not what you want. So with the mixer brush, it's more like you spreading the skin tones over a certain radius depending on what your settings are. I do have the original edit on my Instagram if you would like to see it. And this is what it looked like with the mixer brush edit, and this is what it looked like before, after, before, after. Then I get the Lasso brush, the Lasso tool, and I go back and add a little bit more refinement. Now that I ain't got a general idea of how it's gonna look, just a little key hot spots I want to touch. Then get the mixer brush one more time. And then on that one as well, if you would like to turn it, well, let's see, before, after, before, after, before, after. Then I like to go over here to the opacity and just turn it down a little. Try to make it look as natural as possible. Turn up a little bit right there. All right, so now that I got that done, I'll come down here to my adjustments and do my last color grading, which is pretty simple. I don't do too much. We'll crank that all the way up, turn the brightness up just a little, them key areas, boom. Then we go down here to the vibrance, crank that vibrance up a little, like that, boom. And then this is what it looks like without the color grade, with. So I think it's kind of too much, so I'm gonna bring it down just a little, or bring it down a lot. So I'm gonna just work my way up to like right there. So before, after, just subtle. And then this is without the frequency separation, and this is with, without, with, without, with. Then with the color grading, boom. One last thing, we're gonna do some dodge and burn. I'm just gonna work on my highlights on this one, only because what we'll do is shadows. We'll do both. So we do some dodge and burns. Curves. If you'd like for me to do a dodge and burn video, make sure, let me know in the comments. And I will break down everything I'm doing. All of this is for tutorial purposes. So I'm just gonna go over my shadows, and this is gonna give it that more 3D pop, really add some depth and dimension. I'll just use that as a little reference first to see where I want to go, how much more I want to do. Then this right here, to feather it off so it can gently blend in. Then I like to, once I see how that looks, it lets me know, kind of give me an idea what else I want to dodge and burn at. Then this is before, after, before, after. So I'm gonna turn the opacity down just a little, just so it don't be super intense. Think like, let's try 75. Before, after. Well, we could probably go down even more. Yeah, we'll do like some 45, boom. So it's kind of subtle. So now let's do our highlights, and after that we should be done. Then this is what it looks like without, this width, without, width, without, width. Let's turn it down just a little bit more. I had this one on 45. So without, this is width, without, width. And that's, let's see. Put these together. And that's pretty much it. That's the final edit. This is before my frequency separation and color grading, and this is after. It's before, after. And again, you can turn it down the overall if it's too much at the end, or crank it up. It's all up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my quick version of my editing process. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope everyone had a happy new year. If you like the behind the scenes tutorial of my editing process and would like to see more, please comment below. But first, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that like button for me, and stay tuned. Peace. For more content like this, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at I Am Chad Strong. Peace.